Hello, everyone. This is Carolyn McGee, and I am here with Pat Rainville for Angelic Guidance for Daily Living, our monthly TV show. Thank you so much for joining us. It is our pleasure to be here and give you a little bit of information about the angels, how we use them in our daily lives, and how you can do that in a very simple way.
That's right.
So we've had some crazy energy going on here recently. And actually, before we dive into that, when I was coming in, somebody mentioned that they had lost their keys. And they thought about us.
Oh, really? Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
And they asked the angels for help. And guess what?
They found their keys.
Somebody called them and said exactly where their keys were.
Oh, interesting.
So it works.
And actually, I have a story to share too about that, which is actually directly related to this show. Is sometime, I think it was last month, I had tried out one of the new gyms here in Ashland. Mm-hmm. And on one of the days that I was there, I had my phone with me because, our iPhones, we can connect the earphones to it, listen to music while you're. So, but I had this little carrying case for it that also had my license in it and a credit card or what have you. Well, I left the gym. I had my phone, but I left the case with my credit cards and my license behind. And then when I finally realized it, I went back to the gym to try and find it, and it wasn't there. So, like we always tell people, I called on Archangel Michael and the angels for finding things.
Yep.
And, I just asked that it either be returned to me or either I be able to find her or that it be returned to me. And I heard, something like, oh, you'll get a call in a little while. But I mean, like, what's a little while? A little while to us could mean 20 minutes or half an hour or an hour, But in the angelic realm, there's no sense of time.
That's
so,
right.
But sure enough, by the end of the day, I got a phone call from the Ashland Police Department saying that someone had turned in my thing,
that is
with my
awesome.
license and everything. I mean, by that time I had already canceled my cards and everything like that. But then shortly thereafter, I went into the Honeydew Donuts in Ashland, and I was going in to get my coffee, and this gentleman piped up and said, "Hey, there's the angel lady. Did you find your, did you get your the thing?" He's like, "Yeah, this guy found it and turned it in." I thought it was the neatest story. I was like, "Oh, thank you so much." So thank you. But he specifically said, "Yeah, you're the angel lady." So I know it works. You get your stuff back.
It absolutely does work. Yeah, that's great.
Don't you love those stories?
Oh, I do love those stories. It's confirming that that we're spreading the word and people are actually taking it in and using it, and it's so powerful when you do use it.
It is,
and it's life changing. So the comfort level of just asking and knowing that it's going to happen.
Exactly. And right now, we're really, as you mentioned at the start of the show, we're really in a time where there's just such crazy stuff going on.
Yeah, astrologically, there's a lot of different things going on. I think there's planets in retrograde, there's been solar flares, there's been other cosmic events that have been going on. Mother Earth is shifting with tsunamis and earthquakes and other things that are happening around the world, and that it's bigger than just local. So it spreads across the entire earth, and it impacts everything because we're all energetic beings in a physical body. So we're connected energetically with everything that's going on around the world.
Exactly.
So when things like that happen, it has a major impact on your own energy.
It does.
Yeah. So
when you have large collective consciousness of people that are, sad, upset, worried because their whole world has been turned upside down by, some kind of earth event, when you have that many people in a collective way, a lot of us feel that. We pick up on that empathically, energetically. And, you can be feeling sad or, out of sorts or feeling even very vulnerable and afraid without necessarily knowing why. You might be looking at your life saying, well, there's nothing around me that would make me feel that way.
Right.
But we're, as you have mentioned, we're picking up on
We're
that
picking
energy of
up on
those
that
people
energy.
who've been disrupted
Yeah.
and who are worried for their future.
And very legitimately so. I mean, some
Yeah.
of these people are, their very security in their lives are at stake. So for those of us who are trying to hold the space, for the world and to be more present, to kind of ground that crazy energy, the best thing that you can do is separate your energy from the collective energy. And not necessarily close it down, because we don't want to not feel it. We don't want to block the energy flow, but we want to know what's ours.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can ask.
I was going to say, it's a really powerful thing. All you need to do is ask. And you can almost feel it like float out of your energy system. That's the way it is for me. It's like, is it mine? I'll feel it almost like, for example, I've got some shoulder problems sometimes. But if I'm working with somebody, with a client or with an animal that's got problems, I'll ask, is this shoulder thing mine? And if it's mine, it's like gets really, really big. And if it's not mine, it just dissipates. So it's even like my own residual little problem with my shoulder becomes really, really tiny. And that way I can clear which is my energy and which is somebody else's.
Exactly.
And anybody, you guys can do the same thing. You can just ask, is this a collective consciousness, or is this my daughter's energy? Is this
Or if you're
whatever?
feeling a certain way, you can just ask, who does this belong to?
That is a
Is
great
this,
way to do it.
Does this belong to me, or is this something I've picked up from somebody else? And what I know you or I would do in that situation is, if we do sense that it might not be ours, ask the angels to clear it away from us. Return it to sender, or just ask them to dissipate it, vacuum it away or something like that.
Right. Or convert it into unconditional love.
Yeah,
Take
transmute
back-
it, exactly.
Transmute it, bring it back to source, so that way it's pulled out from the collective consciousness, and it's also out of your energy. Because one of the biggest problems that I have had as an empath, and I'm sure that you've run into it too, is almost like being a sponge.
Yeah.
So taking in all of that energy and not allowing it to go through me.
Exactly.
So it's great to be able to feel it and to be empathetic and to convert it or to get information from it. But if you're holding on to it, you're actually blocking the universal flow.
Yeah, you have to work at being a screen and not a sponge.
Screen and not a sponge. Yes, I like that.
Yeah,
that
was a metaphor.
I like screen.
Yeah, because if you hold on to it and you're got those feelings there and you don't know why. I know a lot of times that feelings of sadness or excess emotion can lead you to eat or to other habits
or
that
not being able to sleep at night.
Yeah, or not being able to sleep at night. So it's important in these times where there's a lot of crazy energy around. Yeah. And there's a lot of tragedies happening in the world I turn to the angels to help me focus on staying peaceful, to keep an inward focus on peace. Because peace, like anything, it's available to everybody. It's all around us, just like love is. And but you got to cultivate it, kind of like the way you cultivate a garden. And it's a matter of, sometimes it takes a conscious act of will to shift your mind from being distracted by all the the drama that's going on in the world that we see in the media all the time, and deciding, you have to cultivate within that.
Yeah, I love that
peace.
Visual.
Which one?
The cultivate.
Oh, the cultivate, yeah, because it is. You do.
Yeah.
You have to develop it the way you would any other skill. It's. When you see all the drama that's going on in the world, it's not that there's an absence of peace. It's just people are focusing more on the drama than they are on the peace. So we have to cultivate it.
Right, we can be that balance.
Yeah, and I've just noticed for myself that it's taken a conscious daily effort to sit and meditate on peaceful words, like peace being in my body, peace being in my heart, peace being around me everywhere. Yeah. And it really grounds your day.
Yeah, and feeling connected. One of my biggest things is, if the weather cooperates, being outside and having my feet either in the soil or in the grass, just to feel that connection, because it grounds me. It gets me more in my body. It makes me more present, so then I could be more peaceful. So then I can be that kind of anchor, energetic anchor for everybody that's around me when they're spinning because of all of these different events that they're absorbing in and not being the screen. I love that.
Yeah, and I find, then if I can get myself into that peaceful space, and then you radiate it outwards. But I, like you, it's immensely helpful to go outdoors, because outdoors is a place that we go to, to kind of get away from it all, get away from all the noise and drama, and get back to a peaceful space. And I also call on the angels at times like these to, I ask for their intervention so that aid can be gotten more quickly to the places that have been devastated. So that the channels of supply
clear away obstacles
and aid can get there much more quickly. So it's very interesting times that we're in right now.
Yeah, it is. And something that just popped into my head as we were talking, as we're going into this fall season, which, is heading into that dormant time where we're going to be going in and, kind of settling in and preparing ourselves, resting. We can't necessarily always get out and ground ourselves the way I prefer to do it in the grass, but, there's so many other bits of nature that we can do. There's big rocks. You can go out and sit next to one, and that will anchor your energy. Trees is another one. That's a huge one. There's a real validity to hug a tree. There's, to hold on to that energy and allow, the connection of the roots down deep into the soil to nourish your own body so that then you feel like you're more connected.
What's interesting? I find when I don't do that enough, I start craving more things that are like root vegetables, like potatoes and the potato chips and things like that, because there is a part of you that's wanting that grounding. And even if it has to get it through a root veg. I mean, food is I know I'm not the only empath that does that. We kind of go to food to ground ourselves.
Absolutely.
But especially those root vegetables, like the white potatoes, the sweet potatoes, the carrots, things like that are very ground, because they come from in the ground.
Yeah, they've pulled in all of that earth energy as they were growing and developing. So very foundational. And yes.
So get outdoors more so you don't eat potato chips, right?
Yes. No, there's a mantra.
Yeah, exactly. Oh gosh. So, but anyways, no, I mean, I also call on the angels right now and for that higher perspective, because when we look at what's going on in the government and all the drama that's going on in TV, whether you agree with it or not,
well, there's drama on all sides.
Yeah. So, it just sometimes I think it can create a lot of fear and concern with people about, what the future is going to look like, what's going to happen to our nation, things like that. And,
well, the anger too that's out there is
there's a lot of hostility out there.
Right, and it makes me sometimes not feel safe, and it has nothing really to do with me. It's that external, but it's the constant negativity and anger and hatred and division. The division is what's the most difficult. So instead of feeling like we're energetically coming together and trying to make a difference and for everybody's highest good. The division makes it, for me personally, very, very challenging.
Yeah. So I call on them to get that higher perspective, to remind me too that sometimes, like, aside from the drama and the hostility that you see going on, there are so many, like hundreds or even thousands of like grassroots social consciousness movements that are going on behind the scenes. And they also bring that higher perspective of like, have trust and faith, because there is a higher power that is at work. I mean, what's happening right now, there's a lot of revealing going on.
Yes, there is.
And one of the metaphors they gave me a long time ago, the angels, was that you know what? And I just lost it. It'll come back.
It'll come back.
It'll come back. But it had to do with the fact that, when a lot of things are being revealed and it's like you can't, if you feel like the society is sick or something, you can't heal sickness until you are
Until you
aware
of it.
of what's going on. So
Right.
you have to uncover what it is.
What's behind the scenes.
Yeah. So there's a lot that's coming to light right
There
now about
absolutely
sexual
is.
inappropriateness and, I mean, we've seen it all over the news, all the different themes. And so it's just, stuff has to come to light in order
has
for
to
it to
come
be
to light.
healed, in order for it to change. So, I call on them to help me to have faith in that, and just to be able to step back and look at the bigger picture.
Right. I keep seeing the visual of the Wizard of Oz when they pull back that curtain, and then all of a sudden you see the man behind the curtain and what's been really going on in there. So, until you see that, you don't know how to deal with it. So,
Yeah.
and sometimes too, even though the truth can sometimes be really painful and scary,
Yeah.
not knowing the truth, our minds make up stuff that's even worse.
They can, yeah,
You know,
absolutely.
so understanding what reality is, then you can ask for angelic support. You can ask the saints and ascended masters. Pull in all of this divine energy that's with us to help you. What's my next best step? How can I personally make a difference? Because each of us do matter. What I do, what you guys do in your own personal lives, it makes a difference. We're like that ripple, right? That drop of water that spreads out. As you change your consciousness and follow your own divine guidance from your angels, you're going to make a difference in people.
It does. And, when you focus on peace and you call in that energy, it actually, in many ways, can help you feel a lot more powerful.
Yeah.
Like you're in your personal power. And that's what I like about it. I mean, sometimes we have this idea that being peaceful is being a doormat, like a peace
Not
at
at
any
all.
price kind of thing. And it's not. There's actually a great deal of power that can be found. And you can be very nice and very sweet and very kind and accommodating in many ways, and yet still be very powerful.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, if you think of Gandhi or Mother
Yeah.
Teresa, they were very peaceful, very, deliberate and loving in their approaches, but they made a tremendous difference in the world.
Oh,
And,
gosh, yeah.
so, and we can do that too. And even if the world is your own family, there's such power in shifting perspective and being more present.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. And I mean, you can work with the angels in almost any situation that's causing you distress
Yes.
in ways and they'll help you to be more at peace. Or give you the strength to get through whatever you need to get through.
To get through it, exactly. Exactly. That sometimes is powerful too.
Yeah.
Or give you the right words to say in a situation.
Yes. That came up in I do that weekly reading on YouTube, and Gabriel, who I brought the cards with today, that creative writing was the card that came out
Yes,
from the
yes.
archangels. And but Gabriel is that angel, that archangel, who can help you with if you ever need the words.
Yes.
How do you say what you need to say? And calling. Do you refer to Gabriel as a he or a she?
She.
I refer to her as a she as well. But whenever you call her in, I found the flow of words comes a lot more easily.
Yep. Yeah, kind of like almost feels the connection and the flow through the heart, so that it's heart-centered.
Yeah, it's also, for me, it comes through like a stream of consciousness, I guess. It starts with a word or a phrase, and I'm like, okay. And it doesn't sound like much, but then once you write that,
Yeah.
more comes, and then more comes. But, so they're hugely helpful to call upon
Yes.
for how do you say what you need to say.
Yeah. And whether you need to say something, professional, you're trying to write down something, or if you need to say something, in a tense family situation, or in any other kind of confrontation, because confrontations can be difficult.
They can.
You don't want to escalate it, but then again, you don't want to not stand in your power, as you're saying. Have that personal stance.
And say what you need to say.
Right. So finding that line and getting that guidance from your angels is really powerful, so that you're not making it worse, but you're not giving away your own space.
Yeah.
It is a very fine line to walk.
So do we want to call in an archangel and do a little meditation?
Sure.
Okay.
Why don't you do that?
Let's see. Who should we meditate with today? What archangel wants to... Ooh,
That one.
that one, yeah. Ooh, and it's Shamuel with this message of beloved one.
Oh, how perfect is that?
And Shamuel is an angel of peace. And this one, it says, I'm helping you with your spiritual soulmate relationship.
Beautiful.
So whether you're married or single and looking or what have you.
And I find there's more than one soulmate. There's a soulmate for each phase that you're in, and
Yeah.
it's so beautiful. And yes, of
Yeah,
course,
soulmate can be like a bestie.
it can be a best friend, and somebody who's going to support you with what you need in that particular moment. So
Yeah.
such a powerful.
So he's
one to come through
speaking
right
of the,
now.
the finding the keys, he's a finding angel too.
Ah, yes.
Yeah, finding peace, finding that peace of mind, even when you think you've lost your mind.
Good.
All right.
Right.
So take a couple of nice deep breaths. And the best way to begin with angels, even if you didn't want to call in angels, to cultivate that sense of peace is just to begin by focusing and noticing your breath. Watching it flow in and flow out. And noticing how that calms the body, how it calms the mind. And noticing that in that moment, there is peace within you and around you. And we can call upon the Archangel Shamuel to be here and present with all of us now, to help us find those relationships, to help us find and make those bonds of connection with people, and to help us find that sense of inner peace.
And as you breathe in and breathe out, notice how your energy shifts, how your body shifts. Breathe in, feeling that breath going all the way down as if it's actually going into your hips and expanding into your body. And as you breathe out, imagine that it's going out of the top of your head also. Cleansing your entire body, moving up and down your spinal column, removing anything that no longer serves you, perhaps that blocked energy or that stored energy that just like a sponge we've all been holding on to. And as you exhale, releasing that, seeing it as a fountain just pouring out of the top of your head, going out into the atmosphere to be absorbed into divine light, returning to the earth to be absorbed in to nourish us all. Breathing in divine love, cleansing every aspect of our body, exhaling out anything that's blocking us. Seeing your energy open to possibilities, open to new ways of being, open to new ways of seeing, open to new relationships of all sorts. Different ways of interacting in the world, but all from this higher perspective of being present, being grounded, and shining love.
feels so lovely.
Could you feel the heart connections of every single space? Yeah, that was amazing. Thank you, Archangel Shema.
Yeah. Cool. So
So we got a few minutes. Should we pull some cards?
Sure.
All right.
all right, Shemuel was our go-to angel for the month.
Yes, we
I'm gonna
need
call him
that.
the Archangel Gabriel deck.
Oh, one of my favorite
Who'd you get?
cards. Saint Cecilia.
Oh, music, yeah.
Music. Isn't she beautiful?
Yeah, I got that card just the other day, and it's such a good reminder to keep music around to uplift your spirit.
It completely changes your energy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. It does.
Whether it's, classical, celestial music, or whether it's,
Whether you're toning, you're humming, you're chanting.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter as long as you're moving energy through your body.
or some good old rock and roll.
That, of course, is
Or country
always,
music, whatever floats your boat.
Right, right. It's just so powerful. And one of the things, too, that I love in here is the little angelic nudge. The angel that's standing behind her.
Oh, yeah.
Just touching her on her shoulder. And it's just a gentle reminder that they're always there. All you need to do is ask. And they're going to be there. And if you keep your energy open like you do and like I do, they know that I'm open to receiving an answer. So sometimes I don't even need to consciously ask. It's more I've just said, if I need to know something, please tell me.
Yeah.
And you can get this little, hey, pay attention over there. Something's coming that you need to be aware of, or keep your eyes open because there's something coming into your awareness that you need to pay attention to.
You're right. Actually, I've had times where they've actually lifted, it's just very gentle and very subtle, but all of a sudden your head comes up and you decide to look at something, and it's
Right.
something that you need to see.
Something that you need to see. So, we've mentioned this on previous shows, but the angels need to be asked. God created humans to have free will, and the angels are here to support us, but they can't intervene unless it's a life or death situation and it's not our time. But for the most part, we need to ask. So, put out a general intention of, I would like some support here, please. And then you're going to receive it. So
Yeah.
be open to that.
And actually, as
Beautiful.
I was looking at that card, as you were talking about it too, what I also got about it is I feel like it's a nudging from the angels for some of you out there to get back to playing music. If you've put down that guitar or walked away from the piano or something that
Yep.
you used to do for a long time, it's time to get back to it, because there's an element of creative expression maybe that needs to come out for you, or
Yep.
there's something that's going to help you, and I want to say speak to your soul about it.
Yeah.
So
Actually,
and-
one other thing just came in real quickly. St. Cecilia is also a church here in Ashland.
oh, that's right. Yeah.
So, community is very, very
Yeah,
important.
gathering and
gathering, singing. They're known for their choir. So you allow yourself to be supported. Don't isolate. Whether you feel like that there's a piece that maybe you're a little bit on the outside, and that's okay. You don't have to be completely immersed in it. Just feel like you're part of the community, whatever that community is for you.
We have to wrap up, but my card was allow yourself to receive. So it's right in with
Beautiful.
that message. So, yeah.
Wow.
Time for us to say goodbye for this month.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you so much for
tuning in.
watching.